What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to do more of a daily news report, but at the same time, some of the reports in the news that's coming out today is regarding stimulus. So I will be addressing some stimulus, how lawmakers were trying to lower prescription drugs, and how one governor is actually doing that. We also want to address the new Republican plan if Republicans take back the House and the Senate in the upcoming midterm elections. Going to address the trucker convoy, the new CDC guidance regarding vaccines, and of course, we will be addressing the news coming out of Russia and Ukraine as of this afternoon. First, let's jump right into it. And if you enjoy this style of video, please do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. But let's get into it. So President Biden has been arguing that lower prescription drug prices is the key to providing relief to every single American. He has stated that passing the Build Back Better Act would accomplish this goal and provide relief to every corner of the United States. But what's interesting about this is that right now, Democrats who have been pushing this, they also had the ability, according to recent reports, to lower prescription drug costs back in November. But they decided against it. It wasn't even something that was really up for debate. Democrats decided against it because they stated it wasn't enough to only lower the cost for some and not everybody. Interesting. I think this is very interesting because lawmakers are also trying to pass the child tax credit payments, which would help out families and people with children. But what do they do to those that don't have children? They increase costs. Inflation would likely go up. So, I think this is interesting where they're going at this point. But what's really interesting is that now two lawmakers are planning to propose a new bill to lower the cost of prescription drugs by simply revamping the CMS annual plan. But again, this is going to require Democrats to either put together a smaller Build Back Better Act or pass it through a standalone bill, likely through a budget reconciliation. And chances are that's not going to happen. So, who knows where we go from here? But remember I stated that there's one governor that's also trying to do this exact same thing? Well, the relief is coming to people out of Michigan because Michigan's governor, Gretchen Whitmer, she signed 3 bills today that are designed to lower prescription drug prices. Now, this may not impact you directly, but according to economists, they say this could actually put other states on notice and get them to pass something very similar in the near future. So, here's what you need to understand. One thing that would be done is pharmacies would be unable to charge more for the copay of a prescription than the prescription itself. Did you know this? Let me know. Comment down in the comment section below. Did you know that pharmacies will often charge you your, let's say it's a $20, $25 copay, but the prescription might be $13, $15, but the pharmacy is going to charge you the copay because, well, you don't know any better. You didn't know it was only $15, and they didn't have to legally tell you. Well, that will change. The other thing is that this will allow pharmacists to discuss the price of generic options in comparison to the name brand equivalent. That's big because just these two changes alone, according to experts, will save millions and millions of dollars every single year. Now, let's address what Republicans are doing. Because just yesterday, I addressed how a new Republican plan was being introduced. And it's actually coming from Senator Rick Scott. In his plan, which is extremely far right, okay? His plan is to take America back under Republican leadership and do things like reducing the government workforce by 25%. And he'd do this in 5 years. Sell government buildings and assets, close down slow and old top-down government-run systems that we currently use today. His plan would also tax all Americans because he says if we tax all Americans and they have some skin in the game, it would be better. He currently states that about 50% of people do not pay any income tax. And by making a bunch of these changes, it would reduce our national deficit. Here's the other thing. One of the things that he really wants to do, yes, obviously reduce the workforce is a big one, by 25% of government employees. Huge. Here's the other thing. He wants to impose a term limit for all lawmakers. What do you think of that? Now, let me know your thoughts on this. First, do you think such a radical change would be a good thing, or do you think it would be better if we find some form of middle ground first? Also, what do you think of term limits for lawmakers? Because here's the issue, and this is something that Senator Bernie Sanders have been saying for years, is the longer somebody is in politics, the more they're bought by corporate America. Let me know your thoughts on that. Now here's something else that did start today. The American Trucker Convoy began today in California. This is the beginning, and right now they're expected to be about 11 days. It's going to take them about 11 days to travel from California to the Beltway, which actually circles the U.S. Capitol. Now, in the beginning, it was just about, I think it was like 20 18-wheelers. There's about 50 to 60 trucks and cars that left from their starting position. But here's what you need to understand. We're already seeing preparations have begun from officials in Washington. We know that 400 National Guard troops have been ordered from Washington, D.C. There's another 30 National Guard troops that have been ordered from outside of Washington. Now, currently, nobody's expected to be carrying weapons. They're just there to assist with traffic. There's also another 50 tactical vehicles that were approved as well. What we do know is this trucker convoy is to be, they're trying to fight to see the end of mask mandates. Now, the convoy organizers have been very clear, and they stated that no matter where they decide to stop in or around Washington, they will not leave until their demands are met. So, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if we're going to see, bouncy houses and balloons and, more like a festival or a carnival for kids and families, like we saw in Canada. We could, but that's probably not what, the National Guard is expecting. So, we'll see what happens here, but I promise as we get closer to that date, I will fill you in on what's going on there. But on a similar note, let's talk about vaccines for a second. We know states are going to eliminate the mask mandates very soon, right? We've seen this. We know it's going to happen. Whether the trucker convoy works or not doesn't matter, because some states are going to be implementing this on their own. But here's what's happening as of today. Currently, people were recommended to get their second dose of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine between 3 to 4 weeks after their first dose. But today, the CDC updated their guidance, and now they're saying that they will allow people to wait up to 8 weeks before they get their second dose. Here's the reason why. According to recent studies, the risk of myocarditis is greatly reduced the longer a person waits between doses. The problem is waiting too much longer after 8 weeks would greatly lower the efficacy rate of the vaccines. So currently, they are saying that the highest risk individuals are males ages between the ages of 12 and 29 years old. But now let's talk about what's going on in Russia. According to multiple U.S. officials, Russia has already threatened to target sensitive U.S. assets as part of a strong and painful response to sanctions. Strong and painful were Russia's words. Now, the Russian Foreign Affairs Ministry said today, and I quote, "There should be no doubt that sanctions will receive a strong response." And currently, Ukraine's president was attempting to call Russian President Putin for the entire afternoon, yet he was not able to speak with him. Right now, Ukraine is getting ready for an all-out war. And Ukraine stated today that they want diplomacy and peace. But if Russia threatens their lives and freedoms, we will fight back. So, we also learned earlier today that a separatist group requested Russian help, but Ukraine also stated that no help would be needed. So, according to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she says this is just another example of a false flag from Russia to push the invasion. So here's what I can tell you. Right now, the news coming out of Russia and Ukraine, this is insane. Because what we are seeing, not only is this, because if you follow my channel, you know I trade stocks every single day. Have multiple businesses. Some I sold because I was getting products overseas and it was becoming very difficult. So over the past 2 years, I've actually sold a handful of my businesses. But one of the things I do every single day is I trade. So I trade stocks. Well, here's the issue. What we're seeing right now is every single company is being impacted by what's going on in Russia. Not because it's directly hurting us here in the United States right now, but if we get involved with sanctions and everything else, which we've already done, the cost of gas is going to go up. When gas goes up, guess what else goes up? Housing will probably go up. Food is going to go up, right? Retail price is going to go up. Cars probably going to go up. And then what else? Inflation. When inflation goes up, companies get hurt. Companies decide, you know what, inflation's pretty high. We can't really survive this unless we do one thing, that is cut costs. The biggest cost a company has or a business has is their employees in most cases. So, as we get closer to a possible invasion, just understand, this could throw the entire world for a loop, especially us here in the United States. So, I promise I will do my best to keep you informed of what's going on, but just understand, even though it's in Russia and Ukraine, this still has the United States in the middle of it, because I can guarantee you, China is looking to see what's the U.S. doing to prevent Russia from taking over Ukraine, because we know China is expected to take over Taiwan, I believe. So right now, just understand, there's a lot of stuff happening. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about what's going on, but at the same time, I'm doing my best to stay positive, to be prepared just in case something does happen, which if you didn't get a chance to watch my video that I did just before this one, go and check it out, because I guarantee you there's probably certain things that you are not doing that experts say you should be doing right now with your money. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you can always ask your questions down in the comment section below. But I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.